Out with the old, in with the new. What you're seeing is me prepping my electric Spitfire to be on its way to its new buyer. If you want to know more information, I have videos on my channel about this electric Spitfire conversion. It's a 1978 Spitfire converted entirely to electric, but that's not what this video is about. This video is about my next electric car project, which is going to be even more exciting. My new project is this 1978 Volkswagen Bus, and it's the Westfalia edition, which means it has the pop-up camper top. Now, I'm not going to restore this as a camping mobile. What I'm going to do is convert it into a work truck for Fix-It Scotty work truck, and that'll hold my tools and my materials for when I go out and help other people work on their houses. We got it home from Wisconsin, and the first thing we had to do was scrub years and years, maybe decades, of grime off of it with an industrial degreaser. And this is going to be the start of my new project. Not only is this a restoration of a Volkswagen, but it's also going to be an electric conversion. Well, the first thing we did was evaluate. It's not too much rust on this, but the first thing we wanted to do is start cutting it away. And we didn't lose any time. We just immediately started cutting away the rust to get it prepped, and also to do some exploratory work to see, how bad the rust is, what's behind it, But overall, the frame and everything is in pretty solid shape. There's just some minor rust and patches we're going to need to do in various sections. Here I'm working on the bottom of the dog leg in the front, and here my friend Brian is working on the sliding door area where rust tends to collect. Just so you know, this gentleman right here is my friend Brian. I've known him since I was 16. We've worked on VWs when we were kids, and so that was 28 years ago, and we're back at it again. This is his 1979 Westfalia bus. He's got the same bus, just 1 year newer, so he's kind of my subject matter expert. I'm going to let him describe this project.
Okay, so today we had a very dirty bus. Hasn't been washed in 20 plus years, so we green padded the whole car with simple green just to see what we had to work with and what metal work needs to be done. And we went through and found all the spot rust and see what kind of cancer we had. We popped all the windows out, except for the driver's door.
Yep.
And looking in the sealing area where the seal goes in, so we found some rust and pitting. Nothing terrible though for a Midwest car. It's actually really solid. The rear, what are these, rear quarter panels? What would you call these?
Yeah, corners.
Yeah, rear corners have been replaced prior to us, and
but that right there is the booger job.
Yeah, everything's pretty tatty. I mean, it's very lumpy. They use too much heat, so all the panels are warped, unfortunately, but they're solid again. The rear valence has been changed. We had a hell of a time getting the rear hatch open because someone screwed up the latch mechanism. A little more rust here, but nothing terrible.
A little bit of pits, but
so all that's gonna anything that's got rust is basically gonna get sandblasted and cleaned, and then probably pour 15'd and then seal coated. This rear corner has been replaced. They got a terrible lap weld.
Yep.
But what are you gonna do?
They lined it up okay, but
yeah. We took off the cargo door because the slider channel little nylon block was actually broken, so the door just immediately wanted to fall off. So we just took it out. And luckily the door is actually really solid. There's no rot on the bottom lower edge like they normally do out here. So that's a good plus. And we pre-spot sandblasted this whole area just to make sure there wasn't any porosity or real pits or anything. We got one little tiny pinhole, but that's it.
Oh yeah, I didn't notice that before.
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah. Well,
So this lower rocker was rotted out. Still has quite a bit of rust in here, so I have to come in here and blast out more metal, or get it bare, and then we'll recoat it with like 415. And all under here, we're gonna have to blast. Same in the cab area. We gotta have a decent sized hole in the cab floor where the West seat sink used to be, or the spare tire. And then along here, there's some, but nothing too terrible.
Let me film the rest of the pan. Yeah, the rear looks good, but that's not too bad.
A little bit of rust on the lower part of the door.
It's a spot.
Passenger dog leg.
I didn't bother with that, so we'll just replace that.
Yeah.
You can see we have, what do you call that? The foot.
That's a footrest.
Footrest. Yeah.
This whole thing's a dog leg, so.
Yeah. Right.
That's actually pretty intact for an East car. I keep saying East Coast because we know it came from New York, but it wound up in the Midwest.
Yeah.
So my favorite part today was that we took the windshield out, and this whole front valance is notorious for major rot.
Thank the Lord. Look at how good. Let me film how good that.
We're still gonna sandblast this clean.
Yeah, but it looks fairly good. It's
no
all,
holes.
Yeah, no holes.
So.
Oh, thank the Lord. I did not want to recreate that.
Yeah, I have an identical '79 Westie, and I spent like a week reconstructing most of this on mine, and it was a California bus, so you never know. So it was a good day right at this.
I don't think we did anything on the front.
No, well,
let's go around to the other side, because I don't think we saw the bottom dog leg there that I cut.
Oh, okay.
So I cut this out, and there's quite a bit of rust on the lower, or the inner there, but we have replacement panels for all that stuff, so I'll be cutting more of that out and fitting that. So, and then again, rust. Not too bad, but it's through here, so we've got to deal with this pitted part here. But other than that, not too bad. Yeah, I'll open the door up, and then of course, this one has the worst, obviously, driver's side footrest. If the passenger looked like that, that's probably what you expect on the driver. But other than that,
well, luckily it came with a sheet metal.
Yeah. Right. Oh yeah. Well, no, that's fine. And there's the inside of the door, and I'm sure we're gonna have to blast all that out, and there's a little bit of the door issue. So, but look at that, an intact floor, so I don't have to do any of that work, so I'm happy about that. All right, day one. Thank you so much, Brian.
You're welcome.
On day two, I hired a mobile sandblasting guy, and this rig right here is a dustless sandblasting process that combines pressure washing and sandblasting to remove paint and rust. We rigged up the bus to be on an incline using a tree branch and a chain hoist so that he can get up underneath it, and he had some clearance. And so let me just shut up now and let you watch the show. Well, after all is said and done, I sprayed off the residue and I filmed this to just show you the aftermath. I couldn't afford to have him, I would have loved to have him do the entire car, but I couldn't afford that. So we mainly just stuck to having him do just the undercarriage and some of the more problem areas like the door frames, a little bit of the floorboards, but mainly just focused on the undercarriage, and he got that done in the 3 hours I think I had him for. The rest of the rust and some of the other areas I'll just have to sand and sandblast myself. As you can see that the undercarriage is pretty much, all the paint, undercoatings, the rust is all pretty much removed, and it's ready for just a final sanding and prepping, which I will do. I plan on probably doing a pour 15 coating on the entire undercarriage and in the inside floors of the bus. Next up, I'm removing the gas tank. I'm starting by removing the filler clamps and the filler tube. And then next I'll undo the straps just by unbolting them. And I'm just kind of going back and forth working the tank, getting it ready to uninstall there. And I finally remove that little fan in the front there, and then I'm able to then get the tank out. No need for that with an electric car. Meanwhile, Brian's just kind of doing some exploratory work on the brakes, inspecting the brake lines, the calipers, and seeing what else we need to order. I'm likely going to order just the rebuild. I think those are the Girling calipers from Bus Depot, and sending those in as a core. Now onto some sheet metal work here. We're going to repair the passenger side upper dog leg issue by putting the old part on top of a new replacement dog leg. And what Brian's doing is he's just cutting it out right now, but he's going to cut it out a little, like 1/8 of an inch large initially, and then once we kind of fit it to the car, we'll be able to kind of shave it down to get it to where it fits in neatly, and we can butt weld it. So once we get it to that point, we can kind of hold it up. I'm going to have Brian explain what he's going to do next now that it's all prepped and ready to go.
So we're doing a partial wheel arch replacement on a 78 Volkswagen Westfalia. That part that we're replacing is probably from Mexico or Brazil, so it doesn't fit very well. So I'm just going to put a little tack here and here, and then I have to shape the top edge to match the contour of the wheel arch. And here we go.
You can turn the mask is set good?
It's good.
Okay.
So it's tacked. That's it.
All right. So tacked in, then some more work, and then we'll take it. Is it?
I might be able to.
Is it ready to go, or
I
are
might be
you
able to roll the edge and get it in there, but most chances I'm gonna have to take these back off and do some more trimming.
do some more turning?
Because I can't get this whole profile right here is much too high. So I have to work it.
All right. As a continuation of the metal prep, I started just spot prepping and fully completing and pour 15ing certain areas that were completely, prepped. and you know, just those areas that are tend to be problem areas in the car. And also, I just did some wire wheeling and some paint prep on the rear end. And so here's that channel, the door channel that's fully, you know, spot blasted, sanded, prepped, and pour 15'd. I know it's not efficient to do it this way, but I just like to get some fully completed little things done. It's just a psychological advantage early on in a large project like this. Well, guys, that's it for part one. I feel like we got a lot done in just the last few days. So the timeline here is we're going to continue with more videos on more metal work, more like suspension work, front end work, brakes, and that type of thing. And then we'll start moving on to body work, maybe paint and prep, and then finally to like, you know, restoration finishing, like, you know, glass and interior stuff. And then the electrical conversion will be coming soon. So hopefully this will be a great interest to VW enthusiasts as well as electric car conversion enthusiasts alike. So please subscribe to follow this project, and I look forward to doing the next part.